Moment. Welcome. So finding a comfortable seat and grounding down. It doesn't matter really what your legs look like. This is really all about being able to sit up a little taller and finding a little ease here in the hips. And so if it's a little harder for you to sit upright, you can take a rolled blanket and place it under your hips or even a pillow. Or if it's really too much, you can recline back and lie on your back with your knees bent up towards the side. We'll close the eyes or soften your gaze. And just take this moment to check in. How are you feeling here physically? Do a body scan. Notice the right side and the left side. Notice where we have those spaces of openness, right? Where there's ease, where we breathe into. And take a moment now to check into your mind's eye. Notice how you're feeling here mentally. Just notice how much thoughts are coming through. Have you been very busy today? Is this the first time you've really been able to sit down? We're just bringing awareness. There is absolutely no judgment. And now see if you can start to turn those thoughts into little clouds. The clouds are going to continue to come, but see if you can just let them float by. We don't need to hold on or anchor to any one of them. We'll now drop down into your heart center. How are you feeling here emotionally? No judgment, just awareness. And we start to come down into the belly. And start to notice the belly, the low back, the hips. Noticing the belly's natural rise and fall with your breath. And now begin to take a little control of that breath. And starting to deepen the inhales, lengthening up through your spine. And we exhale, we release from the shoulders all the way down, pulling the navel in at the end. Breathing in, getting it big, getting expansive, filling up the body. When we exhale, we release, we let go of what no longer is needed. And so we begin to set our tempo, creating our cadence here. Filling up a little more, and finding the exhale to match. Even inhale, even exhale. Noticing how you breathe in, you can sit a little taller. Your lungs are supporting the shoulders, the spine, the ribs. When you exhale, you can relax the shoulders away from your ears. You can soften your sits bones down into the ground a little deeper. Lengthening, sitting up tall, getting big, getting expansive. When we exhale, we release, we soften, we let go, we ground. And so staying with this breath. Yoga truly is a breathing class. At any point, you want to just return to a seat on your mat and just breathe in the cadence along with the pose. You're still doing yoga. The goal is to keep the breath as fluid as you are here. And so if you are in a pose and you find that you're restricted in your breath, it's time to check into the body and make the adjustments that you can do so that you can breathe more fully to create the openness. And so setting our intention, and placing our right hand onto our heart center. My left hand on top. We're going to take 3 breaths together. And on the third exhale, we're going to create a vibration. I'm going to Om. If you'd rather hum, then please create some sort of sound to really connect you to spirit, connect you to source, really connect to your mind, body, soul, that union, that yoke, the whole purpose of yoga. And so take a deep breath in, let it go. We inhale, release it out. We inhale to sing. Just take a moment to feel the vibration that you created. Take a moment of gratitude for yourself, for showing up here for yourself. And taking the time out of your day to be with your body. As you're ready, and gently start to flutter your eyes open. And we're going to stay seated for a moment. And so if you have your legs crossed, switch the cross in the legs so that you have the other leg in front. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to bring our fingertips out by our sides, walking them nice and wide, and roll those shoulders back. Press down into the sits bones, and now drop your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Maybe inching the left fingertips a little farther away, lengthening through the left side of the neck, down the shoulder. Maybe you bring the right fingertips towards the head, really just for a weight, no need to pull. And if we want to get a little deeper into the stretch. Releasing the right hand if you brought it to the head and coming back up to center. And dropping the left ear over the left shoulder, mindful. Yoga, we tend to start at like 40% in the beginning. And then we breathe, and every exhale is a chance to release, a chance to soften, a chance to go deeper. And when you're ready, you can bring the hands to the head, you can stretch the right hands out farther, lengthening through the right side of the neck. And releasing the hand back down, bringing the head back to center. And go ahead and tuck the chin towards the chest back towards the chin. Keep sitting up tall, keep pushing down into those sits bones to help rise the heart. As you tuck the chin down, the shoulders relax down away from the ears. And now start to lift the chin up towards the sky. Keep sitting up nice and tall. Dropping the head back as far as you can. Again, 40%, making sure you can still breathe fully. Now take your lower jaw and bring it up over the upper, creating an underbite, really stretching into the throat. And we're going to take our fingertips towards our chin. And you're just going to gently caress down the throat, kind of breaking up some of this fascia here, massaging a little bit into the larynx, into all of the organs, all of the tissues. And gently bring your chin back to center. And take a big breath in, reach your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, turn your palms out and just lower the fingertips down towards the earth, like you're going through mud. So we inhale, we reach up, we're stretching our side bodies, we're lengthening from the hips to the tips of the fingers. And then we come down like we're swimming down, creating a little resistance here. One more. We're reaching up, stretching up, getting out of the waist, looking up, and swimming down. And we're going to find a twist. We're going to reach up, stretch up, lengthen through the spine. And now take the left hand to the right knee, the right hand behind. And we're going to inhale and lengthen, and exhale, twist a little deeper. One more. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and twist. And now sweep the arms back up to center as you breathe in and twist the other way. That right hand to the left knee, left hand behind. We inhale and lengthen and exhale and twist. Inhale and lengthen, exhale and twist. Sweeping the arms back up to the sky. And now we're going to come forward, bringing the fingertips onto the earth, and we're going to create a cat back, pushing into the fingertips, pushing in towards the hips, and scoop your belly, tuck your chin, really round through the back, creating all of the space in through each vertebra, sending the breath behind the heart center. And we start to come back upright. And we're going to make our way into tabletop position, finding our hands and our knees, swinging those legs around, and getting a little bit more into the spine. First things first, when you place your hands down underneath those shoulders, look down at those fingers. Ideally, we're starting to make our thumbs point towards one another while our index fingers are pointing straight up. If we can start to make this L, this 90-degree angle, it's going to help our wrists, it's going to help our shoulders in the long run. And so as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, look up for cow. And we exhale, we round for cat. And then work with your breath here, about 5 or 6, 7 or 8, who knows, close your eyes, and get into a little rhythm, working the spine, working the belly, noticing what the belly is doing, supporting the spine as we do this movement. You can also feel free to add any other, you can exaggerate a little, getting into the hips, getting into the wrists while you come forward and back. Or sometimes it feels nice to do a little side to side action, getting into the side bodies. Is staying with the breath, maybe even a little circle as you come forward, you inhale and you exhale back. Just really letting the body move with the breath. Move with the spine and the hips. 2 more full rounds here. And after your last cat pose, we're going to come back to a nice neutral spine. We're going to lower down onto our forearms, finding a melting heart pose. And so opening up the shoulders, keeping the hips high over the knees, start to walk your arms forward as much as you can. Remember, 40%, we want to be able to breathe as we're melting our heart into the earth. You can drop your forehead to the ground. You're thinking about opening the shoulders, the thoracic spine. The navel's pulled in to protect the low back. To stay with the breath. We inhale, filling up the lungs, and we exhale, and we melt the heart. And 2 more. And start to walk the elbows back. So they're right underneath your shoulders. We're going to kind of come into like a forearm tabletop, give our wrists a little bit of a break. But I would like for us to keep stretching our hands while we're in this posture. So keep working those thumbs forward or towards one another and the fingertips forward. And send your right toes back behind you, toes on the ground. Press your heel back as you're still pulling your heart forward. Think about the heart coming in between your biceps. We're lengthening through the hip, through the low back, but we're stretching into that calf. And now we're going to hover our right foot up off of the ground. And you're going to keep all the action into your leg. And you're going to bend your knee and flex your foot. And so getting into the glutes here, we're going to inhale and just lift the foot a little. Exhale, release. So inhale and lift, and exhale, lower. 2 more. Lift and lower and lift. And now lower the knee all the way back down to meet the left. And so switching sides, sending the left leg back, toes on the ground, press back through your heel, wake up that calf, but create the length from the hip to the low back, hip and the low back. And now start to hover that foot up off the ground. Go ahead and bend your knee. Keep your flexing into the foot. Now think about stamping the foot on the ceiling, and we lower the knee a little. We press the foot up and stamp, and lower. 2 more. And lift and lower. Last time, lift. And now bring that left knee back down to move the right. And pressing back up into our tabletop, back up onto our hands. Go ahead and drop your belly, lift your gaze, look up for cow. We exhale, we round for cat. And finding our nice neutral spine, navel pulled in. Sweep your right arm up to the sky, open up. And as we exhale, we're just gonna reach it through underneath the left. We're not gonna lower, we're gonna pull the core in. And so inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach through, finding a little twist, getting into the side belly. 2 more, reach up and reach through. Reach up and reach through. And this last time, we're gonna open up, and now we're gonna lower all the way down, finding our thread the needle, bringing our shoulder down to the earth, our ear down. And now you can keep your left hand by your nose. If you need some support, you can start to walk the hand forward, and melting your shoulder down like we did in that puppy pose, that melting heart pose. Keeping the navel pulled in to protect the back as the hips stay high over the knees. Connecting back with the breath, staying with that steady breath. Starting to bring the left hand back by your nose, press in, sweep the right arm back up to the sky, open up, and we come back to our tabletop. Then drop your belly, lift your gaze, look up for cow. When we exhale, we round for cat. Finding the neutral spine again, and now sweeping the left arm up to the sky, and we thread and we reach through the right. And inhale, reach up, pull your core in, and exhale, we thread through. You sweep up and thread through. Reach up, thread through. Last time, we're gonna reach up, open up, and now we're gonna thread all the way down, lowering the shoulder, and bringing the ear to the earth. And your choice again, you can leave your right hand here, you can walk the right fingertips forward, melting the shoulder down towards the ground. And bringing the right hand back by our nose, pressing in, sweeping the left arm back up to the sky, coming back to our tabletop position. And curling our toes under, sending those hips high, finding our downward facing dog. And so let yourself make some movements, pedaling into your legs, wagging the tail, maybe bringing the hips side to side. Whatever really feels good. We're still pushing firmly into the thumb pad, into our fingertips. Keep melting the heart back towards the thighs. You can soften the knees as much as you need to if the shoulders are still tight. And 2 more breaths here. Let your head be heavy, looking back between your feet. And next inhale, look forward. As you exhale, feet come to the top of your mat. Finding a halfway lift and fold. Let's do that again. Halfway lift and fold for ragdoll. Really let your arms be heavy, your head heavy. You can soften the knees if you need to. You can grab onto the opposite elbows. Maybe you shake your head yes, you shake your head no. Beginning of the year, just day 2 into 2022. If you are still feeling a little of the weight of 21 on those shoulders, shake it off right now. Let it go, shake out the shoulders, sway a little bit more, drop it off.
Know that it's not too much for Mama Gaia, that she has the power to transmute any of the negative weight that's holding on to you. Let it go. Let her transmute it. Turn our garbage into that nice new fertile soil. 3 more breaths here. Releasing the elbows if you have them. Soften your knees a little bit so that you can start to round and roll and come all the way back up to standing. We're going to sweep the arms up to the sky and bring the arms down by our side. And inhale, sweep up and fold forward. And halfway lift and fold. We sweep all the way back up to stand, reaching tall. That right hand comes to our left wrist. So breathe in, stretch up, get as long and tall as you can. And now start to reach over to the right as your hips go to the left. And so remember, 40%. Keep breathing into the left ribs. Keep pressing down through your left heel. Engage through the glutes. Spiral the heart to the sky. Next inhale brings us back up to center. Release the hands, switch the grip. Stretch up through the right side, lengthen long first, and then we hinge over. Hips going one way, hand going the other, pressing down through the foot, squeezing the glutes, pulling in the core, and spiraling the heart up towards the sky. Breathing fully. If we can't breathe, we've gone too far. Back up a little bit. Next inhale, we come back up to center. We find some cactus arms, bringing our elbows wide and squeeze the glutes, push your hips forward. Start to look up towards the sky. Maybe bring those palms back. Nice open heart here. Again, breathing fully in. Exhale it out. Inhale, reach the arms up. And fold forward, being mindful. That was a little backward bend. Be gentle on your spine. And halfway lift and fold. And sweep all the way back up to standing, reaching up tall. Right hand to your left wrist. Stretch up. Exhale and hinge over. Inhale back to center, switch the hand, and stretch up as you breathe in. Exhale, hinge to the left. We inhale back up. We exhale and open the arms, shine the heart to the sky. Take another breath in here, opening the heart. Stay as you exhale. We inhale, sweep the arms up, and bring the hands to our heart center. I'm going to step our right foot back for a short stance, a pyramid stance. Both heels are on the ground. Our hips are squared, 2 straight legs. And so grounding down, making sure that the hips are towards the front. The right hand on the hip, reach the left arm up to the sky. And so again, grounding down, squeezing those glutes, reach up, up, up. And now just hinging, belly button up, navel above, and grounding down, pressing into the big toes, into the heels. We come back up to center, switching the hands, left hand to the hip, reach the right arm up to the sky, and now hinge over the other way. Noticing your balance from side to side, bringing awareness into the feet, into the legs, and now come back up to center and reach your right arm forward. And start to look back over your left shoulder, pull your left hip back as you're bringing your right hip forward with your right arm. And maybe we reach the left arm back behind us. Opening up for this twist, reaching wide, fingertip to fingertip, grounding down through both of the feet. One more breath in, twist a little more, bring your gaze back towards your thumb. We're going to inhale all the way back up to center, reaching the arms up to the sky, and now bringing them down by our side. Relaxing the shoulders, palms are facing forward. Keep some action into the arms, engage your triceps. That happens by reaching down, by sparking the fingers. Soften into your left leg, your front leg. We're going to take flight for airplane, lifting the back leg behind, pointing the toes, reaching the fingers back as you pull your heart forward. Breathing here. One more full breath in. And now mindfully try to pull the right knee up toward your belly. Take a high knee step, and then both feet come together. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky, and we fold forward. Now halfway lift and fold, sweeping all the way up to stand, reaching up tall. The hands come to our heart. We step our left foot back, finding that pyramid stance. So short stance, toes are forward, heels are directly behind the toes. We have both legs straight. Our hips are to the front. We're going to bring our left hand to our hip first, reach our right arm up towards the sky, and now hinge over, grounding down through both feet, through both heels. Checking out the balance on this side. Although both feet are down, the legs are split, there is a balance here. And now we come back up to center, bringing the right hand to the hip, reaching the left arm now up towards the sky, and now hinging over the other way. Trying to keep the hips square as we send the torso over. And coming back up to center and now reaching the left arm forward as we start to pull that right hip back. Start to look back over the right shoulder. And when you're stable and you're ready, reaching those right fingertips back. Thumbs are up towards the sky. Spark those fingers, reach. It's the opposite action. So I have my right toes grounded down in the front as I reach my right fingers back. Now I'm pressing back through my left heel as I reach my left hand forward. When we next inhale, we come back to center, reaching the arms up to the sky, and now bringing them down by our side. Opening up the heart, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, soften into the front leg, and take flight when you're ready. And finding our airplane. I'm thinking about reaching back as the heart is coming forward. We now mindfully start to pull the knee up to hip height, high knee, and we step both feet together. And sweeping the arms up to the sky and folding forward. And heel toeing our feet out so that they're hip distance, bending our knees as much as we need to take our peace fingers to our big toes. There needs to be the connection of our fingers and our toes. So bend your knees so you can touch your toes. Now let your head be heavy, look back in between your legs, maybe shake out your head, yes, shake it, no. Let your elbows sway out wide. And now start to pull your heart over your knees as you think about those sits bones coming high to the sky. Try to keep the belly on the thighs. Keep pulling on the toes as you push into the fingers. Nobody's winning. That resistance, though, we create a 360-degree stretch. Stay with the breath. 2 more here. And start to release your toes, bring your feet back together. Inhale for a halfway lift or fold forward. You sweep all the way back up to standing, reaching up tall. Then hands come to our heart. And so we're going to do a little more balance before we come down to the ground. And so we actually bring our arms down by our side, palms are forward. So it's going to be a little bit of a more fluid balance, kind of getting into our hip joints, kind of playing around a little bit with a high knee and a airplane, just like we did. And so grounding down into your left foot and find your drishti. Ideally, 3 feet in front of you on the ground is going to be your stable point. You want to challenge yourself, you raise your gaze. And start to bring your right knee up to hip height. Noticing your stability on the left. So anchoring down into the left heel, squeezing your left glute, thinking about leaning up against the wall. The shoulders are relaxed down. We're standing up tall, belly's pulled in. And now when you're ready, you're going to start to send the leg back. And we're going to hinge a little bit for our airplane, extending the leg and pointing the toe. And now we're going to slowly come back all the way up, pulling that knee up to hip height, rolling the shoulders down. And then we hinge again. So we're only staying long enough to come to the full posture, right? Point the toe, reach the fingers back, heart comes forward. And now we come back. We lift the knee up to hip height and both feet come together. Go ahead and do a little shake side to side on those hips. Maybe even a little hula hoop, bringing the hips side to in a circle and switch your direction if you hula hooped. And now getting ready to switch your side. So ground down on your right foot. Maybe you pick up your right toes. Maybe you rock a little forward and back. Bring your awareness back there. Grow the roots down. Coming to the ball of the left foot. When we're ready, we're going to extend the knee up to hip height and reach the arms down towards the ground. Strong right leg. Press into the heel. Squeeze your right glute. Shoulders are relaxed down. Navel's pulled in. We're breathing in. And now we're going to send the leg back. We find our airplane. Pointing the toe. Reach the fingers back. Heart forward. And now we carefully come forward. We bring the knee up. We stand tall, shoulders down. And now we hinge, we find that airplane. Point the toe, reach the arms back, heart comes forward. And we come back, bringing the knee up. And both feet come together. Widen your feet a little bit wider than your hips now. And now go side to side. Do some wide hula hoops. A little bit more room into the hips. And now bring your feet to the width of your mat, so nice and wide. We're going to keep our feet parallel, so keep your toes forward right behind your heels. Bring your hands to your heart. We're going to work the glutes a little bit, and then we're going to get on the ground and do some deep stretching. And so you're going to hinge and bend your knees. So we want to think about having a nice flat back, our heart coming forward as we're sending our bottom back. And so like a really wide chair. Depending on your hips, if you can drop the bottom as low as the knees, maybe your elbows will rest on your kneecaps. If you can sink your chest a little more, maybe your elbows come onto the shins. So it's kind of like a standing happy baby, right? We have our knees going wide, like in towards our armpits, but we're thinking about the bottom back, the head forward. Their torso is long, nice and flat, no rounding, no dumping. There's a lot of pressure pushing into your heels, push into your toes. The more you push down, the more distracted you can get. Feel the fire, feel the transformation, feel your muscles building. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, bring your hands down, send those hips high to the sky, and just bend one knee and then the other. Going side to side. And coming back to center. We're going to take our left hand somewhere onto your right leg. Maybe you grab your knee, maybe you grab your calf, maybe you can grab the ankle. And so we're going to start to bring our right hand to our low back, and you're going to pull your heart towards your right knee as you look up towards the sky. And finding a little upside down twist here. And coming back to center.
And now switching sides, the right hand's going to come to some part of our left leg, wherever we can hold on to. The left hand comes to our low back. And now pull your heart towards your left knee and look up towards the sky. And we come back to center. And we're going to carefully and gracefully, however it looks, we're going to lower the bottom down. We're going to find a seat. And we're going to actually find a seated malasana to get into our hips one more time. And so once we are seated, you're going to bring your feet wide, maybe your heels only on your mat, your toes going out. And so we try to get those toes down on the ground. If your hips are tight, your toes might be floating, but we're going to try to push those big toes down. Elbows are going to come inside the knees. And now look at your thumbs. You're trying to get the heart to touch those thumbs. And so how does that happen? We push into the sits bones to lengthen up through the spine. As we relax the shoulders down, we tuck the chin in, we're pushing into the feet, getting some action into those thighs, into the hip flexor. And now you're going to push a little bit more into your right elbow and you're going to look over your left shoulder. Keep pulling your heart towards those thumbs. We come back to center. Now you're going to push a little more into the left elbow as you look over the right shoulder. And we come back to center and we release. And now we're going to bring our feet together and we're going to let our knees go wide. And so let's start for our first one with a bigger diamond. Okay, so feet a little bit farther away from you. And we're just going to really lengthen first, but then we're going to let ourselves round and tuck the chin. You can bring your arms onto your leg, really passive here. Our head is heavy, and so let it be heavy. Let it be relaxed. Let it be the anchor that is pulling you closer towards your feet. And remember, we're just breathing. We're letting the breath take us deeper. As we exhale, we fold a little farther. And we start to come back upright. We're going to extend our right leg out towards our right corner of our mat, pulling the left foot in towards our right thigh. And now take your right hand inside your shin and kind of slide it down as far as you can. Just let yourself tip over. If you can put your elbow on the floor, beautiful. If not, just let yourself tip over. Keep looking towards the left. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to bring it behind our low back, opening that shoulder. Let your right ear just kind of come to the right shoulder. We're really just hinging, thinking about melting onto the right knee, opening up the side body, softening the left knee down, really stretching into the side belly, the side hip, the side back. And now take your left arm and bring it over your head. Keep looking towards the left. Try to get that left bicep by your ear, opening up, reaching towards those right toes. You're going to feel the stretch now travel up more into the side ribs, into the shoulder. The hand's going to be a little heavier, hopefully getting you to come down a little bit more. We're still breathing. If we can't find that expansive breath, we got to come back up. And now we're going to come all the way back up. Then we're going to turn our torso and we're going to face our right leg. And so we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to flex into our right foot. You can use your fingertips onto the earth to help you roll those shoulders down. Again, press into the sits bones to lift the heart up.
Pull your belly in and now reach the arms up to the sky. And now hinge over that right leg. Then thinking about the heart coming over the knee, thinking about the left shoulder coming down. Now we're trying to square the torso off towards the right leg. And tuck the chin. Think about lengthening through. And we come all the way back upright. And so we're going to pull our left foot away a little bit so it's more like at our right knee. And now we're going to swing our right leg around, like creating this like pinwheel. And so we should kind of have like this like little pinwheel thing. And so you might be kind of hanging out on the left side. Ideally, we're trying to melt the right hip down. We're trying to come upright. And so you can kind of hang out here and just breathe in, melting it down. Some people like to hinge forward and coming over the shin. Or you can bring the hands behind, kind of leaning back. You'll get a more stretch in front of the right quad. And so kind of your choice where your body is really calling. You can close the eyes and just come back to the breath here. And so when we go for the flexibility, the breath is important because it helps us release the muscles. When we start to hold our breath, we're contracting our muscles. We want to release those muscles. About 3 more breaths here. And so coming back to center, we're going to leave our right leg where it is. We're going to start to straighten our left leg. And so when you do that, you're going to feel a little shift of where you're sitting on, right? And so be mindful of your knee. But if you can, start to bring your heel closer towards your bottom. So now we kind of have the L going the opposite way, right? Rather than our knee coming in. And we're going to turn towards the left leg. We're going to try to sit as tall as we can. And maybe this is where you stay, feeling the stretch here, or you can come forward. Over your left leg. We start to come back upright. We're going to kind of lean on towards your left side, and we're going to find a quad stretch. So if you can stay with your knee bent, you can start to pull your knee in so that you're feeling this more in the quad. Be mindful of the knee. If it's too tight, you could always kind of recline back and shift so you're leaning on and you're grabbing on here. If you are in half saddle, we want to heel in our hip and you can stay upright. Or if you are flexible, if your quad is open, we can come down. And so all different variations depending on how open your quad is, how your knee is feeling, right? If you got bad knees, you don't want the pressure on your knee, you want to roll onto your side so we don't have the pressure from the foot. If we got good knees, you could recline all the way down. You can recline down, bring your arms over your head, interlace or grab onto opposite elbows so that you're really stretching long. You still need more, which I can't really do this. You can start to bend your left knee and you can pull it in toward your chest. I can only bend my knee, but as far as I can go, but be mindful of your knees, your back, your hips. Carefully be reclined back. We're going to start to make our way back up. We're going to release our legs, sending both of our legs long. then coming out to a seat. And so move your love, that love, we all got it. We want that love. Those muscles are the first muscles we start to lose. So we got to work the glutes. They protect our backs. But we don't want to sit on it all the time. So we want those sits bones down. We're finding our staff pose. So flex our feet back. You're going to bring your hands onto your thighs, rolling the shoulders back. You can bring the hands down by your side. And so just sitting tall. And it seems like it's a simple pose, but it is not easy, right? Full body engagement, toes are flexing back, legs are engaged. We're pushing into the sits bone so that the belly is lifting the heart, the shoulders are down, there's a slight choke in our throat. And so we feel the red root chakra connected, pulling up to orange at the sacral, pulling up to yellow at the navel, engage that fire energy. The belly should be pulled in. We should be sitting up nice and tall, perfect posture as we breathe up into our heart green, up into our light blue at the throat. Keep breathing, keep holding the posture, keep engaging up to the third eye, all the way up to the crown. And there's nice tall spine, all connected, red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, indigo, purple. One more breath in. And now as you exhale, you can start to round and soften your legs and just really kind of melt down over the thighs. Inhaling back, upright, then sending the left leg out towards the corner, now pulling that right knee in. And so bringing our left hand inside the leg, going as far as we can as we just tip over, real passive, just let your body just tip and slouch over, right? So this is the opposite of the staff pose. We're just letting it slouch, letting gravity do the job as we take our right hand behind our low back, opening up the shoulder, thinking about the head coming onto the left knee. And we're keeping looking towards the right as we're opening up, keeping your left or right knee, soft to the ground. And now we're going to take that right arm over the head. We're going to try to pull the bicep by the ear. So we're still looking underneath the arm. So we reach towards the left toes. Noticing the difference side to side, making sure that you can still breathe. This makes it a more intense stretch with the arm forward. So maybe you have to come up a little bit. And then as you exhale, you soften back down. Now we come all the way back upright, and we're going to turn and face the left leg. And so now we sit up tall, we're pushing into the sits bones, roll the shoulders down, pull the belly in, sweep the arms up to the sky, and now we fold forward over this left leg. I'm thinking about the heart coming over the knees, so there's still some length into the low back, into the side body. And coming back upright and pulling that foot, right foot away from the thigh, and now taking the left leg around, finding our pinwheel for our deer pose. And so we want the left knee coming straight from the hip as we open up here. And now be mindful, remember 40%, we're here for a moment. You don't have to just jump in and fold forward. We can let our left hip soften. We can hang out here and take a couple breaths, check in. Where are you feeling the sensations? Where do you need to breathe in to open up, to create more space so that you can come deeper? Maybe the other side you came forward, this side your quad's tighter and you want to come back. Maybe vice versa. Let each side be different. Each is a pose, side to side. Every time we transition, it's an opportunity to check back in. Every breath is an opportunity to check back in. Where can I release? What can I let go of? Where do I need to get more expansive? Where do I need more room that I'm going to breathe into?
2 more breaths here. Start to come back to center, keeping the left leg where it is. We're going to extend the right leg now, kind of shifting off onto our sits bones, paying attention to our knee. We still want to keep our knee straight out if we can, but now we're seeing if we can pull our heel in. If we can pull our heel in, the top of our foot will come down. We'll be able to sit both cheeks now, both bones onto the ground. And now we're finding that twist. So the twist is coming from the belly as we hinge over the right leg. And coming back upright, and now shifting more into that quad stretch. So you can just start to inch your knee forward. The more we bring our knees together, we got to be careful on the joint, right? And so being mindful, listening into the knee, trying to keep the heel as close to the bottom as we can. Again, you can always come onto our side, right? Coming to the side, then we have control of the pressure on the knee, pushing the hips forward. And so listening to the body, so many different ways to do so. So many different ways to stretch these different muscles. We can find a modification so that you can breathe and open up. And start to release and shift out. We're going to straighten both of the legs, give them a little shake out here. And now we're going to bring the feet back together. This time, scooch the heels in as close as you can. And you're going to peel your feet open like they were books, pushing our pinkies together, peeling the big toes open. It's going to help sink the knees down as we push the sits bones down. And now hinge, heart closest to the toes, nice flat back as far as you can go. And then just tuck your chin towards your chest. And so we're leading with the heart. We're still trying to think about length through the low spine, through the side body. And coming back upright, help those knees back together. And so planting our feet nice and wide, making sure you have a room to recline back. And so we're going to do a couple seated cat-cows here, working our belly, noticing the difference of sitting on our tailbone and kind of rolling off on the tailbone. So it's a little awkward. If you got a little bony behind, kind of like I do, you're going to really feel the shift. And so when we inhale, we're going to sit tall, sit on the sits bones as you're lifting your heart up, shoulders back, almost like you're back for boat pose. And then when you exhale, you're going to come off of those sits bones. You're going to scoop your belly. You're going to round and tuck your chin. And so we inhale, we roll up onto the bones. We look up. We exhale, we roll off the bones. We scoop the navel. One more. Lift up, look up. And now we exhale and we round, and we're going to stay here for a moment. And so you're going to scoop the belly. Think about the navel getting stapled into the floor as you release your knees, and trying to keep that nice C curve in our back as we reach. We're actively reaching forward. And so we're going to swoop a little here. So we're going to swoop, and we're going to reach our right arm. And then we're going to make a U, and we swoop back and we reach our left. Like we're making this big U as we reach forward, and then we U back as we reach to the left. One more time. Oh, come back and swoop to the right, and we come back and we swoop to the left. Nice little core work here. Come back to center and start to lower as slow as you can. One vertebra, keep stapling the belly button down to the ground, all the way down, release the head, the shoulders, and pull the knees into the chest. And find just some compression first. Take your hands on top of your kneecaps. If you can interlace your fingers, relax your feet, and just pull the knees down. Try to flatten your back. You're compressing into the hip joints. You're gonna feel a little pinching here. This is one of the best stretches for our digestive system. This is one of the best ways to kickstart our mornings, to kickstart our day. Do this before you even get out of bed. Keep pulling, use your bicep strength, and feel the low back completely flat on the ground. And now release that tension, let go of your left leg, send your left leg long, and now pull the right knee towards your right shoulder. Avoid your rib cage, avoid the chest. Keep pulling down as your left heel goes forward. Opposite action, heel forward, knee back. Breathing in, using our bicep strength. We're pulling down, compressing that hip even more. And release, extends the right leg long to the ground, and now pull that left knee in and out towards the left shoulder. Avoiding the rib cage, pulling it down, flexing into our right foot, sliding the right foot forward as we pull the left knee back. Try to get those shoulders back down on the ground. Your head is on the ground, feeling the compression into the hip, into the low back. We're breathing, we're using our bicep strength. And release, sending both legs long. And then flex into your feet and just windshield wiper your toes. Go side to side, kind of getting into the bones, into the hip flexors. And now bend your feet to bring your feet the width of your mat, nice and wide. Bend your knees, excuse me, and bring your arms now out to a T. Backs of your hands on the ground. So your wrists are coming straight out from our shoulders. We're making nice wide arms. Tuck your shoulders under so it's nice and wide across your collarbones. And now drop both knees to the right side. And stay here and just look over your left hand, or maybe you take your right foot and you place it onto the left knee, helping that left knee come closer to the ground. Really breathing into the left hip flexor, getting into the low back here. Carefully coming back to center, uncrossing the legs if they were crossed. Plant your feet wide and just stay for a moment, letting your back be neutral, knees up towards the sky. And now let both knees go towards the left, looking over towards the right hand, maybe the left foot onto the right knee. And coming back to center. Again, just for a moment, keep the feet nice and wide, knees towards the ceiling. Just let the back be neutral. Let it come back to the natural curve. And now finding our happy baby, bringing our knees nice and wide. You could stay with the feet down and just kind of rock with the knees wide, or the full happy baby is the feet up towards the sky, kind of finding that wide squat, right? Now we're upside down. It's a little bit more playful. The thighs aren't going to be burning. We can just kind of rock side to side, thinking about the feet coming up towards the ceiling as the knees come down towards our shoulders. And releasing the feet. And so if you are close to a wall, I invite you, I would have to spin around. I invite you to come to a wall that you can put your feet up for legs up the wall. If you are not by a wall, no problem. We can take a pillow and put it underneath our sacrum or a block, or even make a little diamond with our hands and put our hands there to help the feet stay lifted. Letting our arms come out if you can. If you're using your hands, then that's okay. But take a time to tuck your shoulders under and stay with the breath and just feel the support that you have. And so noticing the difference in the perspective. The head and the shoulders now are our foundation. The feet are up to the sky. The lightness in the legs, the lightness in the toes. And staying steady in the breath to keep all of that beautiful oxygenated blood going through. Now, if your legs are at a wall, I'm inviting you to stay here for your Shavasana. You have your legs extended into the air with a block. I invite you to bring your feet back down to the ground. Remove the block so you can extend your legs long. And if your feet are up the wall and you would rather lie completely flat, please go ahead and do so. And taking a couple moments to come into our final posture and closing the eyes when you get there. Let's all take a deep breath in. Sigh it out, let it go. And say, thank you, I love you, I am so grateful my body still moves the way it does. Another full breath in. We release it out, let it go. Shavasana. Coming back to our natural rhythm of breath. There is nothing left for you to do here. The body knows what it needs to heal. We just need to give it the time to do so. And pull a final message that we can take off with us as we let our body melt into Mama Gaia. One final message that we have from Source. And then I'll finish with a little playing of the drum. I'm just going to kind of finish here, and I will let you know with a namaste and let you stay in your Shavasana. And so when you are ready, you may come out when your body, when your soul is telling you to do so. Which seeds will we cultivate? The birth of a human being is not the beginning, but a continuation. When we were born, all different kinds of seeds of goodness, of cruelty, of awakening, are already inside of us.
Whether the goodness or the cruelty in us is revealed depends on what seeds we cultivate, our actions, and our way of life. And it's important to remember that life is just a continuation of energy. Energy never dies. It is never born. It is just relived in different matter, in different forms. And so we hold on to all of those memories, all of those particles. But it is on us to be mindful, to be present onto what seeds we want to focus on, to grow and to bloom. There might be seeds of anxiety in us that we have struggled with in the past, but we notice as we come to our mat or as we dance or as we sing that that anxiety leaves. So why not focus and fuel the dancing, the singing, the yoga? Come back to that so that those seeds of peace will cultivate. And so I invite you to drop down, further down into Mama Gaia. Namaste. Let those downloads come to you. Let Source fill you up with all the light while you are protected and held so beautifully in Mama Gaia. Namaste.